Hi there, we are here looking at the 100 again. I say again because the 100 is one of those quintessential Pilates moves that is going to be in just about every class, whether you're on the Cadillac, whether you're on the Reformer, and certainly if you're on the mat. We do have a few tutorials on our site that will go more into depth on the, or not the how, but the why and the how of the 100. So be sure to check those out as well. But what I wanted to do today is to take the 100 and put it on the Reformer and give people some other alternatives if they're not quite ready to do the whole thing, and to point out some really key things that'll make your 100 a little more successful. If you could, Amy, would you just go into the 100 however you want to? There's a few different ways, right? So that's why I'm not really going to be particular. I just want to remind you what the 100 basically is. Right? It's an abdominal exercise primarily. Some would say it's more of a breathing exercise. That's what I tend to focus on because that's what I need a little bit more of. The name, the 100, is 5 inhales to 5 exhales over 10 rounds, which adds up to 100. And the idea is that you're heating up the body. You're getting the good air in, letting the bad air out. So, thank you. You can come on out of that. Now here's the thing, who knows we don't know which kind of reformer you're on. We're on a balanced body right now. We also have a lot of Grotz reformers in our classes, and it's a very different spring setup, so that could be confusing. In general, well, always, you want to be successful with your move. So the two questions you might ask is, am I challenging this breath? Am I getting a full breath without sacrificing the position? That's one question you could ask to know whether or not you have the right spring tension. If it's too heavy, something needs to be adjusted, most likely. Okay? On the Grotz reformer, it is heavier springs, 4 springs, but it's not that straightforward in terms of, oh, well, then that one's obviously harder. It has a little bit to do with the mechanics, and that's a whole different tutorial. The point being is that when you curl up against that resistance, you need to be ready for it. You need to know it's going to challenge you differently than will be on the mat. And to adjust for it. And so it's just a new way or a different way of practicing that. So sticking to the reformer we have in front of us, I have Amy on a red and a blue spring, which basically means for this exercise, for the body part that's going to be attached to those springs, which is really all of her, it's medium, could be construed as heavy. I could take it lighter, okay? If I were on a Grotz, I would use all 4 springs for Amy. She can do it. She just has to know what's coming. Okay? So I have her on that weight. Getting into this, if you've never done it here, whichever reformer you're on, just make it medium or heavy. Bring both knees up. And I'm going to have her start with her arms straight. So this is just a bit of a setup. Her hands are in the straps. And you notice she's not gripping the handles. You could. If you have a wood bar, sometimes they encourage that, but I'm saying not so much at the moment because I want her to feel the weight of this strap from her hand transferring all the way down into her shoulder and ultimately her back, because she needs to work from the center, right? Isn't that what we're here for? So if she were really focused only on her hand and didn't have that shoulder kind of connected, meaning somewhat down, just active, not excessive, it becomes a very different exercise. It goes almost instantly to your neck. So make sure you have that. One test you can do is exhale just the arms down, no head coming up, and just feel or notice that the shoulders don't pop up. Can you show what that would look like? Yeah, so then when your hands go down, your shoulders don't come forward. They stay down. And keep going, just maybe back and forth for a few, and now doing it right, thank you. And notice she's not going all the way to the mat. It's not totally unheard of for people to cue your hands all the way to the mat in class, but generally the hands are even above the waist, or at least in line with the shoulder, so you avoid that, and you can really work against that resistance better. So the way I would get into this, if I wasn't sure about all that, is I would do exactly that same arm position, but this time curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. And then let's just stay there. At this point, now you've got that weight on you. For some people, that makes it easier to have something to push into, to reach into. That kind of gets your body going in the direction it should be, right? So that's good news. If you're letting it push on you, you got to take charge. You got to bring it back, okay? So now she can start those pumps. You're just inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5, right? You can also challenge the breath differently, right? Or learn the breath by maybe not going all the way to 5. You could do in for 2, out for 2 to build that duration. But over time, it's meant to be long, drawn-out breaths on each round, all 10 rounds. Okay, so that's one option. That means she doesn't have to worry too much about her back. Come on out. So far, so good? Okay. Now we'll do the version that, for me, would be the next step up. It was to go from the same start position, but as she curls up, to extend her legs on a bit of a high diagonal, keeping the center, the pelvis basically neutral, right? So you're not going to arch your back when the legs go out. You got to watch for that. So she shoots her legs out, and then I'll just take her right back down. Just making sure it's all good. And come again. Prove it to yourself. This is good work right here, if that's all you did. We'll stay up on the next one. Of course, you know what that looks like. And then beginning the pumps. With regard to the height of the leg, right? Of course, the lower the legs go, the more challenging it is against your center. So you're going to watch for that. Mostly you can feel it, right? But if all of a sudden your abdominals pop up, bring it back. Bring it back. It's not worth it, right? Let's work efficiently. If you've done 6 rounds with the legs long and low, start bringing them up if you get tired. This is all about building our strength and feeling good about the work we did when we're done. Take a break. I think the only last one I want to show is the more commonly used traditional arm position and leg position. The arm position, before we stretch out all the way, is just to have the elbows close. This is assuming that you already know that connection. You can feel that your shoulders are already down. You have some energy in your back, even though that's not technically what's working. You're ready to go. You could start there and just do the versions we did before, but even more traditionally would be to have the legs stretched out over the bar to start. Yep. So you'll see this often. Okay. Now in this position, it's not quite a straight deadlift of the legs, right? She's energized. She's already thinking, I'm going to pick up those legs before she does. So everything that needs to be stable is, and it's real good preparation for so many other exercises. So with that in mind, we'll start here. Go ahead and exhale. She's just going to kind of pick herself up all in one shot. And there you go. I think you know the rest of it. Amy's probably tired of that. But it's good breathing. So keep practicing. Let yourself vary things. Keep yourself successful by paying attention to the resistance against you. Work with it. It's there to help you. And then get back to the mat and see how it translates, because that's where the real work happens, is on that mat. Thank you.